The NFL, it began here in Orchard Park, New York. Josh Allen's Bills hosting the Dolphins, who are starting a third-string quarterback. You figure it should be a blowout, RC, and then it's early. It's Stephon Diggs in there in business.
No one throws a prettier deep ball than Josh Allen. This is right on the floor of Stephon Diggs' chest. They're going to go in and score with an amazing play.
And with this, look at Allen just keeping the play alive.
Listen, when you have a quarterback who can extend plays and a guy like Dawson Knox who works so well with him, who needs two hands when you can just use one?
They went up 17-0, and it looked like it should have been a blowout in every way, but the Bills kept allowing the Dolphins to stay in it. Here's a pick.
Listen, this is a little pull through. We call it a slingshot. Cole gets his hand on the football. Javon Holland is Johnny on the spot, and now the Miami Dolphins are in business.
That was Allen's second interception of the game. Dolphins would score a touchdown. It's a three-point game at the half, and then this is Buffalo's first snap from scrimmage in the third quarter.
It's a lookout block on the outside. No one touches Eric Rowe. Josh Allen doesn't get the football out of his hands. It's a scoop and score, and Marcus Spears will be talking about this on Big Men Ball.
Allen with his third turnover of the game. Dolphins have the lead, but then it's Allen coming back. It's Beasley. Buffalo retakes the lead 27-24. Miami punts, and here's Big Game Gabe.
Big Game Gabe. Looking like he did against Kansas City in the divisional round of the playoff last year. Little Tony toe tap.
So the Bills up 10. You figure game over, right? Wrong. The Dolphins hang in there all day, but then down 3 points with 2.5 minutes on a fourth down and short. They actually had 51 seconds to get this.
I've seen this before. They didn't have a play for 4th and 1, but they had one for 4th and 6.
Yeah, they tried it. It turns into 4th and 6. Thompson, Gesicki, no good. By the hair of their chinny chin. The Bills hang on. Allen throws for 352, but he was picked off twice and had the turnover, and the Dolphins. And look, I want to explain. We have to start quickly with them not getting the play call. Dan, again, you're a quarterback, so help me with this. For anyone who's saying, well, Mike McDaniel said after the game that it had been communicated to him that it was a first down. For what it's worth, A, it wasn't that close. B, they did restart the clock. They reset it. So he actually had 51 total seconds, and they still didn't get the play call. Dan, what happened?
Yeah, the reality is that he hears from a coach or a coaching staff member up in the box, hey, coach, first down. So you're automatically going to your play sheet looking down. What's our next call? Then you get it that it's not a first down. It's going to be 4th down. And these plays aren't I right, go right. These are very long and wordy plays. My guess is they're a little bit drawn down because of the third-string quarterback. But there's a lot that has to get communicated into your quarterback in this moment. Greeny, I think this is just a tough break with this situation. This likely doesn't happen with Tua or with Teddy, but since it's a third-string quarterback who doesn't know everything about this offense, that's just the downside to it.
The bottom line of it is, no, Rex, you're shaking your head.
No, absolutely not. This dude froze. We can say what we want. He froze. And I've seen it happen before with coaches. And guess what? It wasn't like it happened once. It happened, 3-4 times in the
fourth
like
quarter?
Whole
fourth quarter.
So to me, I don't want to hear it. You can get the play off. You got to anticipate. As play caller, you anticipate. And so now you got this. As soon as that thing happens, it's easy to shut off saying, well, it's first down. No, you got to be thinking, if it's short, I'm going to this. If it's not, I'm going to this. You've already thought about it the next play. This is chess. You're playing in the National Football League. It's chess. It ain't about, okay, it says this. That's not how you call plays. And so to me, I think the guy just kind of froze in the biggest moment.
All right, so Danny looks skeptical. We'll never know. That will obviously be a story.
I'll know. I've seen it happen a million times.
Here's the one thing I know, RC, that if the Bills played that exact game and the Dolphins had their quarterback, Miami would have advanced. Is it good enough in Buffalo right now?
No, it's not good enough in Buffalo. But we got to remember, this is a team that many of us had pegged in the preseason to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And now with some of the injuries that you've seen defensively and a little regression from Josh Allen. And no, Bills Mafia, I'm not saying Josh Allen is not one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the entire league. But are we getting to the point where you're going to have to talk about Josh Allen and always add this asterisk you have to live with, right? We have some of these great players, and they have these deficiencies, and we say, well, you have to live with that because look what you get on the other side. When Josh Allen is playing against a good football team, when he's playing against a championship caliber football team, he can't turn the football over like this. He can't have a miscommunication with Brown. He can't lock in on Cole Beasley and not get the football there in time, or have the connection where Cole Beasley comes back to catch it. He can't not understand that the hot route is in the flat and it's open right now. Take it. It doesn't matter because because Eric Rowe is free. Josh Allen has to play better next week. Did he make some of the wild plays that we're used to seeing? Absolutely. But he's also the sole reason the Miami Dolphins were in this football game.
Danny, you have tape. Show us Josh Allen.
Yeah, we saw the best and the worst of Josh Allen. A little bit like 2019 to RC's point, but the Bills are not good enough to overcome some of Josh's mistakes. The reality, though, is when they needed Josh to be great, like at the end of the first half, he was. All right, so start with Gabe Davis. This is a best release. You have to go inside or outside, whatever gets vertical. Tight end seam, it's cover 2. Now what happens is, because he goes inside and gets vertical, Josh pumps that safety to just get him to bleed inside. Now I've opened up that hole on the outside. This is right before the half where they get 3 points. Now you go to third down. He's got a little bit of outside pressure. It's man-to-man. Josh climbs the pocket. What I like is he doesn't take off running. He remains a little bit like a passer, just a flick of the wrist, again, to Gabe Davis. This gets him in field goal range. By the way, they won the game by 3 points. But they were in this situation because Josh was very frantic with his eyes and his feet. Third down, man coverage. Rex knows this. Drop down the safety, just has vision with Josh. Josh hits his back leg. And different to that third down completion, this time he takes off and he's just a runner. He's actually going to have that very similar crosser coming over the middle of the field. Josh was very frantic with his eyes. You know, it was almost too quickly to become a runner versus man coverage yesterday. And I know he's had success with that this season and certainly in the past. But to not have the feel in that game of holding on to it just for a blink longer kind of concerns me a little bit. I talked about that. They're not good enough because of the injuries to overcome 3 giveaways in the playoffs next week. They'll lose if he does it again.
It's Bills, Bengals. Both played games yesterday. We thought they'd win maybe much more easily than they did. They will match up next weekend. In the meantime, we wanted to make sure we did have a moment for you on the extraordinary drama that was Saturday night in these playoffs. RC, Trevor Lawrence played maybe the worst half of football any quarterback has ever played, and then bounced back and won. What did that tell you?
What that told me is that this guy who was supposed to be LeBron had a LeBron-type moment. He had an opportunity to fail. He had an opportunity to go into a shell, to go into a ball and say, you know what, I've lost this one, let's come back and try it next year. But he didn't do that. Dude said everybody in the locker room believed, and he played in that way. The defense made stops. His players around him made plays once he got the football into their hands. It was the leadership of Trevor Lawrence to me that absolutely blew me away. We all knew about the talent, but it was about the fight. It was about digging. This is a guy that's won his entire career. Now faced with this adversity, he stepped up in a major way. Much respect to Trevor Lawrence and what he was able to accomplish this weekend.
Much respect for Doug Peterson, too.
Yeah.
It was his leadership that was the calming factor on this entire football team. You heard him talk about just chip away, just chip away. And that's exactly what they did. Trevor Lawrence is a beast.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, but I think it started, it funneled all the way down from Doug Peterson to his entire football team.
Look, if you look at the coaching situation they had in Jacksonville last year with Urban, and then this, there may never have been a greater juxtaposition, and we're seeing the benefit of it in Trevor Lawrence. Danny, a quick moment on the performance of Lawrence on Saturday night.
RC, you kind of mentioned LeBron. In the football world, who is Trevor Lawrence supposed to be?
Andrew Luck.
He's becoming Andrew Luck. That's what I felt like watching that game. The kid who was supposed to be the next Andrew Luck is starting to look like Andrew Luck. Not only in the regular season, but the way he handled that second half. It was Trevor, take the game over, and he did.
And meantime, everyone on Twitter has fired the coach of the other team. Look, you got Justin Herbert, who is as talented as, I was texting with Dan during the game. He's ridiculous. Does he need a new coach?
Man, I tell you what, if you're going to get Sean Payton, then the answer is yes. But the Chargers aren't going to give Sean Payton $20 million. So you're going to have Brandon Staley. Here's my message to Brandon Staley. Number one, you did an outstanding job getting your team ready to play that game. They were popping out of their skin.
Yeah, they were.
But my goodness, learn from some of the coaches in the past, veteran coaches, to learn how to close out a game. For goodness sake, I hate this one. Well, we never had success running. Yes, you do. When you're moving the clock, that's success. You don't stop running the ball.
I don't want to call for a coach's job, but I believe Brandon Staley is a good coach, and he should be the head coach. You have to do something offensively. There has to be a new plan, a new scheme, or a new guy calling plays.
I don't want to call for his head either, but, you know, you're saying he's a good coach. Why? Tell me one thing this man has done. He was reckless the first year. To me, he's supposed to be a defensive guru. Your defense gave up a 27-point lead. And by the way, statistically, one of the worst defenses in the history of the game, stopping a run. So to me, I ain't buying that.
I have to run up against the end of an hour. I think that you speak for a lot of people who watched that game the other night. By the way, we got basketball coming your way. Big 12 SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader. Number 2.